So today I was playing with the Atlassian Forge platform, and I created one small app to do something very simple. And I have been, of course, learning how to create apps using Atlassian Forge platform, and so far it is looking quite quite okay. It is not at all difficult for someone who has never developed any apps for cloud. And because it is a new platform, Atlassian is also recommending to use Forge, especially for someone or maybe an organization who want to create apps for the very first time. Now, so far I have set up my development environment. I have created one simple app. I have also created one app to display the last comment, and I'm of course following the tutorials. Today, I'm I'm still following the tutorials mentioned on the these steps mentioned on the developer.atlassian.com, which is the portal where you can find all the information related to the app development. And the good thing is that things on Atlassian Cloud, especially when you develop an app, you have to use REST API. So if you have already done some automation or work using REST API, then it will be not very difficult at all to create an app using Forge. So today I was looking at this example where you can also listen for events. So basically there is something called as triggers, and for this example what I did, I created one app that will do something when you create a new issue. And of course this is one example. I believe I'll of course share the progress. I believe you can also listen for various other events, and if you have to follow the tutorial, it will take not more than 10 minutes to create this app. Of course you need to have that setup in place. So let me show you what this app can do. To create a new app, you can do Forge create. It will create a folder, and then you need to specify um, the type, or rather template. Basically you have to tell this app that you want to create a product trigger, and then it will of course do some magic and it will create some files for you. When you look at your app files, you will get something like this. You will have a manifest.yml where you can take a look at things like key and maybe the title that you can definitely change. I mean, the key is also displayed, or the name of the app is displayed when you go to the Manage App section. And you also have, of course, your standard Node.js files, package.json, package-lock.json, and of course you have index.jsx that will let you do something with the app. And of course this is all from the product trigger template that you select, so you don't have to create these files. Forge platform will do it for you. And one more thing, if you are trying to, let us say, modify something in Jira, let us say you are adding a comment, so you need to define it in the scope. uh, like you want to, for example, for this particular use case, we are trying to add a comment, and we are trying to add a permission. We have to add this in the permission, like a scope where it says write Jira work. Now you must be wondering how to figure out the right name of the scope, and let me tell you how to figure it out. If you go to, let us say, your REST API documentation, let me try to find it for you if I can. So if you type in I guess this link, I'm just trying to help you. So if you're looking at the REST API documentation, this page, and I have made not hundreds, but I think 25, 30 videos, I guess, and maybe more, where I talked about different things that you can do with the REST API. And if you look at, let us say, things like add a comment, for example. Now, if you look here, you have to specify the OAuth scope, where for adding a comment, you need to add this. So this is basically what you can see in this manifest.yml file. So in case you're wondering, if you are not really sure what kind of scope you need, so you know what you need. For example, for getting a comment, you need something like read, Jira work, and so on. So this is something that I thought I'll probably share in case you're wondering, because not everything is easy to figure out when you're looking at the documentation or when you're following the tutorial. I just figured it out by, of course, because I have looked at this page multiple times and I always refer to it. So I thought I'll probably also share it. I've seen the scope. So once you do that, rest of the things are actually quite straightforward. And in the beginning, when you create this new app using the product trigger template, it will have just one console.log. So there's a function um, like run, and it will have the event parameter and context. Now, you can use these things like event and context when you are maybe, for example, when you do something with the issue. Let us say, for this example, uh, we are trying to add a comment when the issue is created. So you can find the issue ID using event.issue.id, and this is of course important because you need uh, the issue ID for doing something, for adding a comment, for example. Now in the beginning you will just have console.log, and if you run your forge tunnel, you can monitor this message, and this will be triggered when you, let us say, create a new issue. So let us do that. Let us go to the Jira instance and let us create a new issue. Let me use something decent in the summary. So if you go back to your tunnel, you will find this hello world, which is great. Now if you look at the documentation, you will find one function that will actually add a comment. So you basically you can create your own function, or you can copy from this documentation link. Once you know how to do something using REST API, like how to get something, how to uh, update something or create something using, of course, different methods. For example, if you're posting something, or if you're creating something, it should be post. If you're updating something, it should be put, and so on. So this is of course, I mean, if you look at this particular piece of code, this is Node.js or JavaScript, and you can of course copy this code and modify it for your own example. For my case, I just wanted to see how it works. For example, if you look at this particular function add comment, it is taking so you have to pass two arguments, issue ID and the message, like the actual comment. And first we have to use this endpoint. So if you have watched my video on how to add a comment, and basically I talked about Jira REST API, and I showed different things that you can do using REST API. So let us say if you want to learn just REST API, nothing else, without doing, or not really coding, but if you want to basically get familiar with the JSON and how to call these APIs, then you can take a look at these videos. I believe I did made one video where I added a comment. I'm just trying to figure out if I can find this comment. Okay, so I'm sure that I made one video. And so the main thing is that you have to specify the right when you create something, you have to pass the body, and if you have to figure out the type, or rather what all things you need to pass, you can take a look at that link that I just shared. I will open it separately. So if you look at the REST API documentation, it is of course very detailed, and you can see here in the body, you can copy these examples, like for example, if you have to create something, add a comment, for example, you have to specify body, where you need to have type, version, content, blah blah blah, and so on. So you have to basically do the same thing in your Node.js code. The only thing which is dynamic here is when you are using this, when you are basically making this REST call, replace the issue ID with your actual ID, which of course you don't have to do it. The function will do it. So this is the variable and the actual comment that will go in the message, which is again a variable. And then rest of the code is pretty standard code to make a REST call. You have to specify the method and specify the header and pass the body and check if the response is not equal to 201. If not, then return the response that you get. And what I'm doing here is I can uncomment this. I'm also displaying this response in my terminal. Basically, I have this Forge tunnel running. So it says right now, whenever you make a change in the code, if there is no other significant change, if it is just the change in the code, it will then update and deploy the modifications for you. So it says listening for request. Let us go back to the Jira instance and create a new issue story. And what it will do, hopefully, it will then, I'll just go to my console, my terminal, and it says it is basically displaying the actual comment body which you get from the response, which is nothing but a JSON. If I open my issue, I can just open it maybe by typing the issue key, which is 16, I know, because it's a new issue. It will add a comment. Hopefully it will add a comment. Let us see. Let us wait for it to load completely. And let me just refresh it, just in case. I'm just checking the scope. So yeah, I think it should be okay. Let us go back. So there is no comment. That is strange. Did I? This should work. Okay, let us, because it says here, because I can see the comment, um, oh, I think I need to actually go to the other one. So if I go to the 16, no, let me just go back to the 16 one. I think you have to wait for it to do something, because it is not immediate. I'm just trying to ensure that the comment is added, because when you're doing something with the REST API, I believe it is not always immediate. Let us see. Let us wait for it to do something. Come on. Because I can see in this Forge tunnel, there is an activity, and it should give you, I believe, somewhere the ID of. So it says the issue ID is 10016. Okay. Let us wait for it to do something. I'll try to open the issue with 10016. 10016. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. So let me just do one thing. Let me just stop the tunnel and deploy it again. So forge deploy, okay, and then we'll run the tunnel again. So we are also trying to figure out how things work, and it worked earlier because I know I was able to take a look at the comment. And deploying to environment. I was trying to check the REST API here. -dev REST 10016. Okay, I can see comment here. Yeah, there is a comment. But why the comment is not displayed when I am looking at the issue? It's a bit strange. Control Shift. Okay, let me just refresh it. I hope I'm looking at the right issue. So let us open 10016. I hope it is. Oh, come on. I was looking at the wrong issue. So it was Scrum-17. So now you know how to find the right issue key using the issue ID as well. So we did some troubleshooting. So there is a comment that was added using this. So there was no need to deploy it again. It was deployed, by the way, by auto deployed by Forge tunnel. But we can test one more time, and this time I will ensure that I'm not really using the wrong issue key. So create, and this is my new story. I want to see how quickly it is added. So if I open the issue straight away, okay, so there is the comment is added in this case straight away, but I've noticed that sometimes there is a delay. I'll probably play with it a bit more to understand whether this, because whenever you make these REST calls, whenever you ask Forge or your app to do something, I believe these REST calls are not immediate. I mean, when I say immediate, of course it is never really immediate, but it is not instant. Like you have to wait for some time for things to happen. I mean, more than a few seconds. But I'll continue to explore this. So that is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I'm quite enjoying playing with Forge, and especially on cloud, because on cloud, first of all, I'm used to working on Jira server, and of course script runner, because with the help of Java APIs you can do a lot of wonderful things, and it is much more convenient, quicker. But I understand, as I mentioned before in my previous video, or the first video when I talked about why I'm diving into Forge now, is because I want to learn, because because Atlassian is also very focused on the cloud version. So I think it makes sense for me as well, personally, professionally, that I learn Forge. It is interesting. I like doing things on Jira, and when people are moving towards cloud, for example, my clients, or maybe if I have to do something, maybe if someone is asking me to develop an app, at least I should know the process, or maybe I'll develop an app. You never know. So I just wanted to start somewhere. Although Forge came out, I believe, more than a year ago, and I did some initial tests long back, but it was only recently that I started doing some serious work. Although also because I am learning Node.js. I've never done anything with any JavaScript frameworks, and Node.js is definitely interesting. And the good thing is that whenever you're looking at any tutorial for developing something using Forge, their examples, their tutorials are all based on Node.js. Although you don't have to use Node.js, but because I want to follow these tutorials, I want to keep things simple, and that is why I also started learning Node.js. So we'll continue this journey, and now I know how to get something using REST API using Forge, and I now also know how to add something, or basically make a change to Jira. Now I can do a lot of other things. Maybe I'll create my own listeners. Maybe I'll create, I don't know. I'll take a look at the tutorials, like how to add a workflow condition, for example. So I'm still exploring, and I'll definitely share and give you my updates in case you want to learn the same thing, or in case you find doing these things interesting on cloud. So that is all I wanted to talk about today. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you also learned something new today. Thank you very much.